In 1939, Hitler invaded Czechoslovakia, signed a pact with Russia, and invaded Poland. The Third Reich seemed unstoppable. Waves of shock and fear were felt throughout the world, and May 10th, 1940 has been called one of the most dramatic days in history. At dawn, Hitler invaded the Low Countries of Belgium, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands, and then he invaded France. That evening, Winston Churchill walked with destiny by becoming Prime Minister at age 65. This was an awful time to be in charge. People were afraid of the Nazis, they were critical of their government, and uncertain about the future. But it was the perfect time for a great leader to step forward. Churchill felt the weight of the responsibility, and he recognized the difficulties. He even commented to General Ismay, poor people, they trust me, and I can give them nothing but disaster for quite a long time." And in his first speech to the House of Commons on May 13th, he spoke these unforgettable words: "I have nothing to offer but blood, toil, tears, and sweat. We have before us an ordeal of the most grievous kind. We have before us many, many long months of struggle and of suffering. You ask, what is our policy? I can say it is to wage war by sea, land, and air with all our might and with all the strength that God can give us, to wage war against a monstrous tyranny never surpassed in the dark, lamentable catalog of human crime. That is our policy. You ask, what is our aim? I can answer in one word. It is victory. Victory at all costs. Victory in spite of all terror. Victory, however long and hard the road may be. For without victory, there is no survival. Let that be realized. No survival for the British Empire. No survival for all that the British Empire has stood for. No survival for the urge and impulse of the ages that mankind will move forward toward its goal. But I take up my task with buoyancy and hope. I feel sure that our cause will not be allowed to fail among men. And at this time, I feel entitled to claim the aid of all. And I say, come then, let us go forward together with our united strength. In this video, we're going to see that our aim in Indiana can be summarized in one word: victory. Hi, I'm Jim Taylor. Welcome to In Favor Resources and to the 13th video in this teaching series titled, We Are an Army in Indiana. It comes from a prophecy by Chuck Pierce given to our state. And so if God sees us as an army, then we're drawing lessons from successful armies in history and in Israel and in America and in Indiana, because those things are true of us as well, if that's how God sees us. So we've already learned that we obey our commander and we wear protective armor and we carry deadly weapons and we are trained and ready and we know who the enemy is. We know we're in a fight. We know we're on a battlefield. We raise our banner high. We employ divine strategies. We have an awesome ally, and we are courageous and we are confident. Take the handout now that you'll find it infavorresources.com. You're looking for the handout for video number 13, and it is titled Declaration 12. This is the final declaration in this series, but there's one more video. Declaration 12. In Indiana, we will win the victory. The outcome is assured. It's already been decided, and we are on the winning side. I want you to consider words here, words of affirmation from 5 different biblical characters. These are the scriptures on your handout. In 1 Corinthians 15, Paul declared, "But thanks be to God, He gives us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ." In Deuteronomy 20, Moses reminded the Israelites, "For the Lord your God is the one who goes with you to fight for you against your enemies and to give you victory." David said in Psalm 20, "Now this I know, the Lord gives victory to His anointed." He answers him from His heavenly sanctuary with the victorious power of His right hand. And therefore in Psalm 44, he says, "O God, I put no trust in my bow. My sword does not bring me victory, but you give us victory over our enemies, and you put our adversaries to shame." In Proverbs, Solomon wrote, "The horse is made ready for the day of battle, but victory does not come with the horse. Victory rests with the Lord." And John said in 1 John 5, this is the victory that overcomes the world, our faith. In Indiana, we have the victory that overcomes the world, the flesh, and the devil. There's an inspiring word from the legendary Charles Spurgeon on your handout. Beloved, let me feed your courage with the recollection that your Lord and Master has overcome. See him there before you. He of the thorn crown has fought the enemy and broken his head. Satan has been completely worsted by the captain of your salvation. And that victory was representative. He fought and won it for you. You have to contend with a defeated foe. Strike then, for Christ has smitten him. The captain has triumphed before you. And as always, there's just wisdom in the music. Stand up for Jesus. The strife will not be long. This day, the noise of battle. The next, the victor's song. To those who vanquish evil, a crown of life shall be. They with the King of glory shall reign eternally. Hear the tramp, tramp, tramping of the army. The triumph shouting. The foe we're routing. Hear the tramp, tramp, tramping of the army, marching on to victory. And to him that overcomes the foe, white raiment shall be given. Before the angels he shall know his name confessed in heaven. And then onward from the hills of light, our hearts with love aflame will vanquish all the hosts of night in Jesus' conquering name. Faith is the victory. Faith is the victory. Oh, glorious victory that overcomes the world. If you flip your handout over, you'll see that, again, as always, we've left space for your thoughts and questions, applications and implications of that phrase, that key phrase, we are an army in Indiana. But did your school ever win a sectional or regional or state championship in any kind of contest or athletic event? Can you remember how it felt when time expired? Can you still hear the cheering and the shouting? Can you still feel the elation on the trip home and all the celebrations that followed, one after another? Well, how do you think that compares to our celebration in heaven after that final eternal victory? You know, we're so used to coming up short that we even have an expression for it. You can't win them all. Well, that may be true for imperfect humans in a fallen world, but it certainly doesn't apply to God. God never fails. He never comes up short. He is never behind. He is never lost, nor will he ever lose. So just as a reminder, just read quickly through the book of Revelation sometime. I know it's confusing. I know it's mysterious, but it foretells that story of the final battle between good and evil, and it very clearly announces the outcome, and God wins. Then ask yourself, how can knowing this, how can being sure of this in your very being, how can that change your perspective on today's problems and questions and disappointments? And then how can you use that to encourage someone else today? Now the next video, the last video, is a conclusion to the series, and it's titled, We Are Prophesying a Vast Army in Indiana. Don't miss it.